Hello ladies, welcome back to Music and Beauty TV. Thank you so much for subscribing and sharing this video with anyone you think it may help. Let's just jump right in. So starting off, you want to have boiling hot water. The hotter the water is, the better, the straighter that your hair is going to get. Ideally, you want to use a tall pitcher or a tall tea kettle. Those are the safest devices to use for this process. But unfortunately, I didn't have any on me, so I'm just going to use what I have. But let me tell you what you don't use. You definitely don't use a flimsy cup like this, a plastic red cup, anything like this. It's too thin, it's too flimsy. It's definitely going to burn you if you try to use this. You also don't want to use a glass cup because even though it's thicker and more sturdy, you can feel the heat through it too much and you're not going to be able to handle that heat. This is the cup I'm going to use today. This is actually, it's thick enough and the heat does not transfer through it as much. So we're going to go ahead and pour that water into this cup. I like to kind of squeeze mine inside the sink so that it doesn't move around when I pour the water in. That's just a little hack if you're not used to doing this. Obviously, if you're using a tea kettle, then you don't even have to go through this process. But just be very careful. I do prefer sitting the cup inside the sink somewhere when you pour the hot water. Otherwise, it very well may spill and get all over the place, including you. So you're going to need a big towel, a small towel, some scissors, and some oil spray. One of the tricks I used to use was I would pour oil in the water while I dipped the hair. I used to love that. I didn't do that in this video for some reason, but you can definitely try that. Now, personally, I'm used to using this cup and it's not too hot for me, but in case you use a cup like this and it's a little too hot, if you have one of these little gloves that they give you when you buy like wands and flat irons, then this is very good to use because it definitely protects you from the heat all the way, but it doesn't get in the way like this black towel. If you decide to try to hold the cup with a towel, you're setting yourself up for danger because you are going to be going back and forth between picking this cup up and sitting it down, and it's too likely that it'll get caught. The towel will get caught underneath the cup and everything will spill. So I highly recommend not doing that. Now, people who do hair at the shop drape their clients because this client does not have a drape and this is just done at home, something for the everyday person. I'm covering her up with this towel. This is for like added protection, just in case any drips spill. I don't want them to spill on her. So after you drape the client, then I recommend sectioning the hair off. Some people, if they are using a bigger pitcher or something, they just dip all the hair together at once. And while that does work, if you're using a cup, then section the hair off because you need sections small enough to fit inside the cup. When you put sections that are too large inside of the cup or the pitcher, a lot of times the braids will come out crinkly. They don't get straight enough. So I like to isolate section by section. And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go section by section, dip the hair about halfway in. I like to go up and down a few times. The more times you do that, I feel like the more it's straightening the hair out. And then just make sure that when you remove it, that you catch it immediately with a small towel and just squeeze it dry. Now make sure that when you're squeezing it dry, you're squeezing and pulling at the same time and running your fingers, like finger combing through the hair. That way you make sure that if there are any knots forming, that you can take care of those right away, and you can kind of like look at every braid and make sure that everything is getting straight, nothing's matting up. That's the biggest thing I'll stress, because some of you might be out there dipping hair, but a lot of times your ends might be crinkly, or you may not be taking these small extra steps, and sometimes your ends are getting matted up. So this is just like a quick and easy way to avoid that. Side note, if you have a towel that's big enough, you can also dry the hair just like this by using the ends of the towel. Just be very careful if you decide to use this method. And after I'm finished, I will go through and just dip it all in the water one last time, just to make sure that it's like evenly straight all throughout. Now, I want to show you guys an example of what you need to tell your clients not to do. A lot of times they'll want to lean their head back thinking that they're helping you, but a lot of times that gets in the way of you being able to pull. So once I'm finished with the whole process, then I like to just grab the towel and just squeeze it out this one last time, getting rid of as much water as I can because I know I still need to go trim and spray this hair down. You can follow this process up by blow drying your client's hair. Sometimes they really don't care if you do. They're gonna be outside in the heat. It dries pretty quickly anyway. But if you do your client's hair at night and have to go to bed right after, then, you know, as a courtesy, blow dry their hair so that they don't have wet ends while they're getting in bed. I wanted to show you guys how I trim the ends. This is very important to me because I prefer to create a natural look at the end of doing individuals. And creating that natural look is by basically trimming a V shape, almost like a U or a V shape into the hair. The most important purpose of trimming the braids is to just get rid of any straggly ends. But remember that you intentionally stretch the hair out when you're doing individuals because you want the ends to be like staggered and frayed. So you don't want to do like a blunt cut straight across because that totally defeats the purpose, as well as it may cause some of your braids to unravel. And then I'll go through and then I'll grab some of the layers that are on top and make sure I do that as well. Because if you only do one cut, then you're not going to get some of those braids that are on the top of the head because they just blend in and they're not long enough for you to cut. And that's it. At the end of everything, the hair should be flexible and movable and completely sealed. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped. And until next time, be you, love you, and make it all beautiful.